Hello, Scratchers. So, do you like mazes? Ever wanted to generate your own? We are going to learn to do just that. Mazes are basically one long twisting those attempt to solve corridors with dead ends and something like that. So, first we will create a new project. So here we are on a new project. Now I will delete the sprite 1. We'll begin by deleting sprite 1, and I'll go to the backdrop, and I will fill the backdrop to be pure black. So we will scrape out of this. First we'll convert it to bitmap. Now we will create a new sprite, naming it as boundary or bounds, anything you want. So I will take a little of dark gray, okay, and I'll make it something like a boundary. Okay, here. So I will take some dark gray here. I will set it to 40. Okay, and then I will make the fill to 0. And then here I will draw it. Now I will make it exactly reposition it here, and I will reposition it to x0 and y0. Yep, and I will just do it this side, a little from this side also. This is exactly fine. This is also fine. Yep. Next, I will create a new sprite. I named it boundaries. Now I'll create a new sprite, naming it maze. Okay. What costumes will we need? The first one, we shall name it as tile. Okay, and I will zoom in. Okay, here. We need to be quite accurate drawing these costumes. So we will set the outline to 0, and maybe I can select a little of blue. This can be any color you choose. And make it exactly 2 grid squares. Now I wanted to say that a grid square is 4 by 4 pixels. So one gray, you see. So we will make exactly 2 by 2 2 grid squares, 2 grid square style. So that'll be 8 by 8 pixels. Okay. So that is exactly 2 full grid squares, wide and tall. Then we'll, to ensure it's centered, we will drag it until it snaps into place. Next, we will draw the main costume that we will need, and this is a corridor costume. We will duplicate the sprite and name it corridor. Okay. And then here we will make it a rectangle, enlarging it to 5 grid squares long, which will make it 20 pixels wide and 8 pixels, 20 pixels long and 8 pixels tall. And be sure to not again center it like we did in tile. Let the center point be there. Okay, so next we will add the pen extension to our project. So here we add it, and now we will get when green flag click. So we will erase everything, and then we will go to the variables tab and delete the my variable, and here we will create a new variable as tile size. Okay, and then once we have done that, we will set tile size to 40. That's nice and chunky for starters. Now we will bring a set size block. Okay. So set size. In here, once we have done that, set size to 40. Next, once we bring the set size, we have a problem. Okay, so how are we going to size our sprite so that it is working at the selected 40 pixel size where the size block expects a percentage? Tricky, but no problem. Let's do the math. Setting the size to 100% would mean that our tiles are of the size, what was it? 12 pixels, right? So that's what we said. So if we divide 100 by 12 and multiply it by tile size, that would do it. So here we will get 100 by 12. Okay. And then we will multiply it by tile size. Okay. And then we will go to x0 and y0. Yep. And we will point in direction. So we want to do left, basically 180 degree, 90 degree, minus 90 degree, or 0 degree. So if you see, all of those are multiples of 9. So we want to add in random direction. So here we will get a multiply block and 90 into random minus 1 to 2. Okay, so that'll do it. So if you try to run it, it gives us different positions. Yep. So next, we will create a new block. Draw maze. Okay, here, draw maze, and then we will drag it in here. And in draw maze, we will switch the costume to corridor, and we will stamp it on the stage. Okay, and then we will move tile size steps. So here at the move, and we will move tile size steps. Okay, and then we will turn. So this we will duplicate here. So minus 1 to 1. Okay, because we only want minus 90, 90 or 0. See here, if you run it, we see that we have. Okay, so we can again drop another draw maze into the draw maze that we have. So if you see, the block is making its use of itself. Be warned that if it was run without screen refresh, it would reduce your computer to a crawl. So don't do that yet. So if you try to run it, so just an infinite loop. So in here we will make a simple condition. So if we will get a not, so in control we will get an if here. So if not touching boundary. Okay. If not touching the boundary, then we will do this. Okay. So that's the rectangle on the level. Now if we run this, yeah, the corridor stops. But now we also do not want the corridor to extend over itself. So we will extend the sensing check with an OR. So we will go to the operators and get an OR. And here, touching boundary or touching the color. So we will get a touching color from the sensing. Touching color. So this is the color that we picked. So we will take that and we will place it here. Oh, we did something wrong. So this should be here and we should do it in draw maze. Sorry for that. That should be in the draw maze spread. Now we see one thing strange, that we are only drawing 2 times. But now actually if you see, we are actually overlapping the color, if you can see. So we are building like this. So that's why it is stopping. Now to figure it out, we have to we'll go to the costumes tab and then we will duplicate this costume and we will name it detector. Right? And we will reduce this to 2 grid squares long, and be sure not to reduce from the this side, but reduce from this side and do not center it. Okay, and change the color to anything you want. Okay, so I'll change it to green and then I'll run it. So then I will switch the costume. Okay, here first I will switch costume to detector and then I will check for that. Okay, so now if we try that, now we see that the corridor has collided with itself, so we stop there. But it would be better that if we could try a different direction instead. Well, at each point there are potentially four directions of travel, so we could do put a repeat 4 in this here, and we will get a turn 90 degree. Here. Turn 90 degree, and we will run it. Ooh, the corridor travels nicely, bending around, but it still appears to be running into trouble and stopping in a mad spin. Okay, well, the reason is simple. Sometimes the corridor goes headfirst into a dead end of its own making. In this case, how many times we go around, so how do we get out of this one? So answer is we need to back up the maze drawing until we can begin drawing again. So we could come like something like this and we could go up, or we could come here and come. So for that, we will need some custom block with some input values, so they do not forget their variables. So here I will get a new block that is try directions from, and an input that will be start direction. Okay, and next I will move all the turning script here. Okay, and if that does not work, first we will get the try directions from direction, and say here we are doing this, right? So after this, that means it did not work, we will point in direction, start direction. Okay, so guaranteeing us to be pointing the same way. Now we can safely move forward the tile size by tile size. So we can just get move negative of tile size. Okay, so here 0 minus tile size and variable step. Now we see the draw maze calls try direction which calls draw maze which calls try direction, etc. So that makes it a recursive loop. So when try direction can't go any further, it calls back to the previous draw maze, which in turn falls back to the previous try direction. This allows it to try another direction further back up to the corridor. So that is the logic here. Okay, so let's try to run this project. Now we see that it does not So did you see that backing up the path, and we see that a new possible turn is there. So the script ends where this it began, right? With nowhere else to search. So to mark the endpoint, we will create a new costume as X. Here we will add it and name it X, and maybe a red, and then name it around 3, so that it's exactly 6 by 6 pixels. Yep. I'll center those both. Okay. And here, and when clicked, once we are done, we will switch the costume to X. Here, once after the draw maze, we will switch the costume to X. Here we go. So I can see there's more to this maze and it's working great. To say though, it's taking time. Perhaps we can make this faster by enabling run without screen refresh. So how fast will it draw the maze now? Click the green flag and I'll race you. Wow, did it already generate the maze? Cool. I'm clicking the green flag over and over. Yep. So now I will set the tile size to something different. Maybe 30. Fast, huh? 20. Still fast. So a tile size of 10 then? Oh, flip. We have reached the limit of sprite costumes. So if you want this tile size of 10, you would have to convert these tile and corridor to bitmap. For this tutorial, we will go with tile size of 20. Interestingly, you may have noticed that the maze produced a zigzaggy pattern. So let's add some straightness to the maze. So for that, we will get an if here. So here, okay, and then we will get this. Pick random 1 to 10 in 1. Means we have a 1 to 10 chance of turning. Ooh, very spirally. Okay. Maybe let's make it go way down. 1 to 2. Yep, that looks better. Yep. So I think this is fine, but the corridor wouldn't also be exactly. Now, what if we could get the longest distance to the end mark, and then we could place like a player or something. So for that, we will have to create 4 new variables. That will be furthest x. Okay, that will be for all sprites. Furthest y for all sprites. Furthest distance only for the sprite, and distance also only for the sprite. Okay. Next, I will now create a new variable, record distances, like record distance. So here record distance and I will create it. So here if the distance is greater than furthest distance, if distance is greater than furthest distance, then we will set furthest distance to distance. Okay. Next, we will set furthest x to the x position. Here. Down x position. And we will set furthest y to the y position. Okay. So that is it for this. Now here in the draw maze, we have to do some changes. So after we move, we will change distance by 1. And after we move again back, we will change distance by negative of 1. And here we will add our record distance block. Fine. So, yep. Next, broadcast a new event named as, let's broadcast a new event like maze generated or something like that. You can make it generated or something like that. Okay, in the event clicked script, I'll make it maze generated. Okay, now we will we have did the broadcast. After everything, the drawing maze and everything has happened. Okay, so once that's all done, next we will add a new sprite as player. Okay, and here I will zoom in again and make a circle as a small player. Okay, I will make it a little maybe greenish. And no outline. Nil outline. Now I have to create here. So exactly 8 by 8 pixels. Okay. And then maybe if you want, you could add some 2 eyes. So small here. So here we go, up, up. Yep. So that is it. Here, if you want, you can also make it like some nose and mouth, but I will be skipping it. Enough. 2 eyes are enough for us and the player. So next, I will first, when I receive maze generated, I will set the size to the size of maze. Okay. We will set size of maze. Yeah. So maze, size of maze. Okay. So we keep up with the tile size. Okay. Then we will go to X and Y. So the furthest X and the furthest Y. And we will hide all the variables. Yep. Now let's, okay. So that is the furthest distance, it says. Okay. Next, we will get a when clicked and get a hide from the looks. Okay. So next, I will go to the control and get a wait until. Okay. And then not key any pressed. Okay. Wait until not any key pressed. So we will get an order from the operators. Yep. Next, we will get, we will show our player. Now we will get a repeat until. repeat until touching maze. Okay. So touching maze, yeah, touching maze is the wrong impression. It doesn't mean we are touching the maze at all. Touching is the X in the middle of the maze. That is the last costume, and that's our goal. So we have to go to the maze. Then on touching the maze's X, we exit the repeat loop and hide the player and broadcast a new message of reset maze. So we will hide it and then we will broadcast a new message. Here, reset maze. And then we'll broadcast it. Next, we'll create a new variable, news block, sorry, move, okay, dx and dy, okay, and here for that we have to create another costume, so we will create it. So I will take the same color, okay, so yeah, yep, done. So next, what our sprinkly eyes, I will copy that and put it in here. Okay, that will be not seen, but still I'll put it for your convenience. Next, what we'll do, and I wanted to say that we did something wrong. Our square must be one grid square exactly, and we do not need the eyes because it will not be seen at all. So one grid square, okay. And while I'm in the costumes tab, I will rename it to square. Okay. And let me rename it to play. Okay. Next, first I will switch costume to square. And then what I will do is I will change x by dx. So in the motions, change x and change y. Change x by dx and change y by dy. And in case we are touching the black, so the boundary, like the backdrop which we craved out of, so in that case we will be getting enough, touching color, sensing block, yeah, so this color exactly, yeah. So we will copy this too. We will do exactly the opposite of this. Okay, so negative and again minus. Now we will place it in here and do this. Now then we'll again switch the costume to player. So this is it for this block. And then what we need to do is we have to detect the presses, right? So we will create a new block that will be move with speed. And here I'll place an input as speed and run without screen refresh. Okay. And in this block, we will be adding repeat. Okay. So, and moving strategy, you can do it any way you want. If like you want to do it in some other way, I do not demand you to follow me. So here on operators, I go to here and ceiling of ceiling of the speed. So I'll repeat and I will get two move blocks here. So in the first one, this is a trick. Okay, so I'll put a minus operator and I'll go to the sensing. Okay, key right arrow pressed minus key left arrow pressed. So yeah, this might be a little confusing for you, but left arrow give a if right arrow is pressed, it will give a 1, and if left arrow is pressed, for this will give us -1. And here again we'll do, so this will be up arrow and down arrow. Fine, we'll duplicate that and put it. So then we'll put 0 and 0. Then we will just add a move with speed here. Move with speed block, which we just did. And in here, we will do it tile size divided by 8. The tile size divided by 8. So let's try this. So yep, yeah, 0, 0, start. So we will handle the reset maze broadcast right here. Okay. So we will go to the maze and we will create a new block like set config. Okay. So we have two ways to do this to handle the reset maze. First one is you could do when I receive reset maze. You could bring it all here and then you can broadcast reset maze here. And the another way that I am doing is you can create a block for this and then you can do set config and set config. Okay. So we can move all the code from when clicked to this. And I think we are done. So let's try it. Yep, works. Nice. Cool. Nice, right? Yeah. So maze is generated. We can move around and notch the edges or the black ones. So thank you all, and hope to see you in another tutorial. Please subscribe to our channel. Bye bye.